Watched the story, I thought to myself, this brought back my whole concern that drivers are just driving too young. I think we're letting kids drive way too young. At 15, really? I know you can't have your license at 15, but come on.
Yeah.
I think driver's ed should start at 16.
Oh, well.
I'm just saying.
But it's funny, I've actually seen kids, or teenagers probably, that I thought were too young to drive. I just stopped in my tracks. Whoa!
Same thing.
It was in broad daylight, and I thought the same thing. He could not be more than 8.
Yeah.
But you know what? I feel I looked young. I look young. I still look young.
Well, and I was telling our director when I watched the story earlier that kid's 15. He's probably traumatized because especially as a young boy, I'm sure girls, you know, they get upset too. But when a young boy said, you're so small," he's probably embarrassed and.
Jared Smith is an awful young-looking fella, isn't he? He's in the interactive
I shaved this morning. It'll take a couple years off.
What do you think, Jared?
It's scary enough to drive when you're 15 years old. Nonetheless, have a police helicopter flying overhead when you're trying to go on the highway. But it is an interesting topic. I grew up in Virginia, and the driving age there was 15 for your permit, 16 for your license. In New York, where I was born, it's 17. So the ages do vary a little bit from state to state. But Liz thinks 18. A lot of our Facebook fans also agree with you. Here's the story we posted. A lot of good information here, a lot of good links. There's two sides to the story. Obviously, some people say that teenage drivers aren't necessarily the safest drivers, so it might, decrease accidents. But on the other side, a lot of teenagers, especially in the summertime, rely on cars to get to their jobs, extracurricular activities. So there are two sides to this story. And we're asking our Facebook fans today if they think the driving age needs to be increased. And a lot of people say 18. James, right there, 18.
I agree, James.
There you go. Jennifer, I believe with how fast everyone drives and how careless everyone is, the driving age needs to be raised to 18. But if you scroll to the bottom, there is some dissent. Look at Keith. Hard to say. There's idiots driving of all ages.
Jackie agrees too.
Yeah, so people do agree with Liz. There's obviously two sides to this story.
Nobody's talking to the kids, though.
Karen doesn't agree with me.
I think at the very least, more rigorous training, or not training, but the test.
Yeah.
Yes.
You need to weed some people out. Not everyone passes.
It was very easy for me to get my permit. I remember I took, I think, 5 or 6 lessons with, an independent driver, and I had a piece of paper in my hand that said, all right, you're 16, go ahead, drive, have fun. It can be scary, because it's a new thing, and obviously anytime you start something new, it's an experience, and you've got to practice. Just like any job or just like anything else, you've got to get practice.
Yeah, maybe I'm going too far with 18, 17 for sure, though. 16's way too young. Start at 16 and then move on at 17.
Yeah, okay.
Get behind the wheel. I think the maturity level is not there. Texting while driving
is 17 in college. If I couldn't drive in college, that would have been a real
17's fine. I think I'd be okay with 17. But you know what, parents? We're worried about kids driving to work and this and that. Yeah. They just have to drive them a little bit longer because you're driving them to work at 14, aren't you?
Yes.
Public transportation.
A couple more years. That's okay. You never stop being a parent. You start driving your parents again at what, 80 again? Come on.